All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a workout video where yours truly is going to go out into the elements. It is like a balmy 34 degrees though today, Fahrenheit. So like, honestly, pretty hyped on how warm it currently is, which is sad that just above freezing is where we're at with this in terms of the hypeness. But yeah, also another, like the point of the video today is we programmed a speed workout. It's going to be a 3x1 mile at 7-minute pace with 1 mile recovery laps in between. So ultimately we'll be doing 7 miles, 1 mile warm up, get everything shaken out, and then we're going to get into 3x1 mile at 7-minute pace. So yeah, if you're into this kind of content, maybe subscribe to the channel. If not, no worries, just stick around and let's see how this workout goes. I'm gonna try to film a little bit. I have the Action 3 with me. So yeah, let's get into our warm-up mile and then we're gonna get into some 3x1 miles at 7-minute pace. Let's do it. Okay, everybody, we are back in the apartment and we are going to go over that workout really quick. And then I'm going to show you how to program these types of workouts into first your watch, if that's all you got, so that you can program it in a pinch. Well, there are some caveats to that. And then I'm going to show you how you can program these types of workouts into the Garmin Connect app, send the workout from your phone to your watch, and then you're going to have it. And it's going to give you all the prompts as you go through the workout. And while this is the first time I've done it, I'm by no means an expert at this. It is really helpful and it kind of just makes you look forward to the workout a little bit more. But first, let's jump into some of the stats of this workout. So 10-minute warm up for the mile. My first interval repeat was a 6:54. I think honestly, the first interval for a mile long at this kind of pace for me is always just kind of like trying to get dialed in. It's definitely not like a point of being able to do it. It's a point of figuring out where the pace is. Don't go too fast. Try to slow down a little bit. Figure out where things are. 10:19 recovery after that. And then my second repeat was a 6:59. I think it still felt pretty good. If you look at kind of when I jump into the analysis, the elevation, it's not a ton, but there are some okay climbs throughout. So for me, like when I'm looking at the pace with the elevation in the background, kind of the chart on Strava, you can definitely tell like first interval had a bit of climb, second interval had kind of a climb towards the end. And I would say probably that third interval is the only one that's relatively flat. So I guess that just comes down to me planning these things out. Jumping back to the splits, the last one was a 7:04. It is really nice when you're doing these workouts, when you have them like programmed in, because it kind of shows you on your screen. It gives you a different menu than if you're just doing it on your own. I will probably make the range bigger next time, but you can tell it. Say you want to get 7-minute pace for these, you give it a range. So I gave it 6:55 to 7:05, and it'll kind of beep when you're falling out of that range, nailing that range, or falling too fast, which is great because that's one of those things where you don't want to have to look down, but you should be able to feel it. You know, if it beeps, you can be like, okay, I'm probably dropping closer to 7:10s, and you should like. In the opposite, thinking, you should know if you're going, 650s if you're trying to go 7. But I do like that it gives you that little beep. It gives you that kind of it just keeps you on task without, you having to look down or just know off the top of your head. So I like that. But yeah, overall, that was the last one. I did 11:25 for my kind of cool down. Honestly, kind of a fun one. Weather's been warming up after last week being pretty brutal. So overall, really good session. Still 7 miles in during the middle of a week. So that's, it's good mileage. It's some good training for my eventual just about half marathon pace. Yeah, my half marathon race pace goal for mid-April is 7:07 pace. So I'll be building on this kind of 7-minute mile pace as both kind of a tempo speed and then the eventual half marathon speed. So that's the workout. Obviously you're here for the programming kind of bit. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take the camera. I'm going to put it upside down so that you're looking down at my watch, and we are going to do kind of just a run through on programming using the watch and then the phone. So just give me a second. I'll get you set up. Just a second. Okay, so here's kind of the top down setup. Hopefully you can see the watch fairly well. It's oddly hard to light the screen of the Garmin, purely because it is so dim compared to having bright lights to light everything else. But yeah, that's a long explanation of things. Let's get into this. So this is how you're going to set up a workout, whether you're doing repeats, intervals, whatever you want to call it, all in your watch. Now, two things about this. You can only set up one that is saved. So if you're doing, 8 by 800 meter workouts, that's the one that you're going to be saving in here as your, the one that you're doing from your watch. So that's something to bear in mind. And then also you can only do the same repeats. So 8 by 800s, 5 by 1 miles, 10 by 1K, that kind of, you get the idea. So those are the two kind of caveats to programming a workout only from the watch. This is the Garmin 245, no music. I don't know if it's the same for other watches. And I also am no expert at this. This is the first time I've done it. I just thought it was helpful. So yeah, let's get into programming the workout with those caveats, bearing in mind just from the watch. So this is my home screen. It's a custom one from Garmin Connect. I don't know. Yours definitely looks different, I assume. But once you hit the start button, it's going to pop up with the different options for activities. You're going to hit run, at least I will. When the option thing pops up, you're going to hold option. And then you're going to go into run settings. No, you're going to go down to training. And there you go. So if you had programmed workouts from your phone, they would show up there. But we're going to go down to intervals. And so the one that I just have plugged in there is 6 laps with 45-second rest in between, and that is with a warm up and a cool down. How do you know that? You can change it by going into the edit section. And so these are the different options you're going to have for editing this workout. Interval, I have it set as open. What does open mean? Open is just whenever you hit the lap button, which is also the back button on this, it's going to end the portion that you're in, the section of this workout. So your other options for this are, edit type. And your different options are time and distance. So if you want to be doing, 1 mile repeats, that's going to be a repeat. If you want to do 5-minute repeats at a certain effort, if you just want to go perceived effort and you want to do it for 5 minutes, that would be something you would pick time for. And then open is something that I would probably stick to. It's mainly if you're on a track or something like that. So this is going to be your interval will end when you hit the lap button. So it's open-ended based on your effort. So if you pick something like that, the type would be open. Why do I say this would be good for a track workout? Because if you're doing 800 repeats on a track or even 400 meter repeats, it's going to be better. You're going to get better information if you're getting an exact time. So you're going to be getting your lap time every time you hit the lap button, rather than relying on the GPS to tell you how far you went in that time. So like if you're relying on the GPS, it may not be as accurate as how far you're actually going. Obviously, that's not a big deal if you're out on the roads and you're going miles and miles, but when you're on a track and you're doing 100s, 200s, 800s even, every second kind of matters. So that's why open is pretty useful, I think. And that's definitely how I will be doing kind of my track workouts from here on out. Your rest, this is just setting the time of your rest in between. You can set these to, obviously, I've got it currently to duration type similar. You can, rest for a mile. For like what I did for the 3 by 1 mile, I would have set my rest to 1 mile here. Or you can set it to time. So you want a 90-second rest in between. Cool. Or obviously open. Same thing applies. You take as long as a rest as you need. And then you can jump back into your workout as soon as you hit the lap button. So I have it set to time, and then you'd go into duration. It takes a little bit, I feel like, to get used to setting these things up, but as long as you know where your up and down button and then your kind of accept button is the start stop, you'll know how to do these. So if I wanted to change this to 1 minute and 30 seconds, that's going to give me 90 seconds of recovery in between each one. So we'll go back. That's your rest. How many repeats you're going to do. So this is the caveat of programming in your phone, or I'm sorry, in the watch. When you do a repeat, you are only going to be able to do the same type of repeat. So we set this to open-ended intervals. We're doing 800s. And now we got our rest and how many 800s we're going to do. You can't just like throw a 400 in there. I guess you could if they're open like this. You just have to know which lap was your 400. So actually, I take it back. If you're doing open-ended track workouts, I suppose you could do this all just from the watch, but it's not going to be, I think, as intuitive as, otherwise. And then warm-up is always open and open-ended in terms of like how long you want to do it. And cool down on here, again, always open-ended. Your only option there is to turn them on and off. So if you were going to do a workout, you would start it and it's going to jump into the warm-up. I can kind of show you how that's going to play out. If I go back here, okay, so we set everything up. Now we're going to do the workout, start the timer, boom. We just started this, workout that we just set up, and we are in the warm-up phase. Like I said, this is open-ended. So you're doing your warm-up, bing, bang, boom. You're going to hit the lap button. You're starting your first interval. It vibrated and it made a noise, which is pretty, convenient, I suppose. So you're starting your interval. Let's say we're just doing 100 meters. You just sprinted it, and we're going to hit our lap. Except you're not doing... I guess since it's open, you could. And now you're into your rest. So it starts our 90-second rest. You get the idea. You continue to hit lap until you get to your cooldown. And then your cooldown can be as long as you need. And then you'll just hit lap one more time. It'll essentially end the workout, have a little celebration. And then you will jump into... It'll just go to like the normal running screen. And then you end your workout. And everything will be uploaded to Garmin Connect with your laps and your open times in there, so you know what they were. Okay, so now we are just going to switch over to the Garmin Connect on the app, because I want to show you how I set up one workout that I've done before and how you have a little bit more leeway with it and how to send it to your phone. So now we're going to set up a workout using the Garmin Connect app. So you can open up Garmin Connect. It has some previous stuff here, but we can go ahead and hit more. We're going to go into training and planning. We're going to go into workouts, and you can see here's one workout that I created, 3x1 mile at 7-minute pace, 7 mile total. So it's nice. It gives you about total time that's going to take you to do this. And this is how it breaks down the steps. So you can see the warm up here. I set it to 1 mile. Interval number 1 at 7-minute pace. And I'll show you how you set up kind of that window, which is really nice for when you do get into it, because it will show you, it'll kind of beep at you when you're getting outside of that window, like I was saying before. So let's make a new one. Let's create a workout. We're going to create a run. And it's already got some things kind of set up here as your fallback. So you've got a warm up in there. And that's the same as it is set up in the watch. So that's just lap button to press, and then lap button to press for the cooldown. So we can actually keep those as is, or you can change them up to, we can edit this. If you want to change it to duration type, we'll change it to a mile or a distance. And we're going to go ahead and change this to just a half-mile warm-up. How about that? We're going back. So that's our warm up. Our first, run section. Let's say we want to do a 1 mile, but we're going to put in a target time. We're going to put in a pace for this. And now this has, lit up down here. And this is going to give you your target window. We want these to be, let's say we're going really fast here. We're going to go 6:30 to 6:40. And that's for 1 mile. So we're gonna go back here. Yeah, that's all set up. We can even add a note. We're gonna call this interval 1. Done. Cool. So we've got interval 1 in there. That's 1 mile at a 6:30 to 6:40 pace with the goal of a 6. Oh, I guess I should have put in, 6:35 or something like that. Let's say we can actually go back in. We're going to edit that note. Okay, there we go. Interval 1 at, let's say, 6:35. Okay, so you're going to do a warm up. It's going to be a half mile. Then you're going to jump into your first interval. That's going to be a 1 mile interval at goal pace 6:35, but it's going to be set to give you a window of 6:30 to 6:40, and it's going to beep at you when you're outside of that window. I think that stuff is really helpful. It's, again, one of those things where you don't have to look down at your watch, and it's going to let you know that you are on track. So this is going to be the key here. Let's add a new add step. So it's created another run section here. We already did a 1 mile. Let's add in another one, but this one is going to just be a half mile, except we're not going to obviously move the miles. We're going to move, no, we want 0.5. Wow, it's very specific. You've got some, it goes to the 10th. All right, so we've got a half mile here. And we want to be able to do this with a target type. Again, maybe, I don't know. What do we want to do? Probably pace. We're going to set this to a pace. Yet again, it's giving us a window. We're doing a half mile now. So we're really going to crank this down to, 6 flat. How about? And except we want this to be a window. And if we're going for 6 flat, we're going to go 6:55, 5:55 to 6:05. Okay, so we've set up that window. I'm going to add a little note in here. We're going to call this interval 2, if I can type with one finger. And we're going to say at 6 pace. No, we don't need pave. We need pace. Cool. Let's go down there. So this is our second step. It's an interval number 2 at 6 pace. We're going half a mile, and it's going to have that target window. Okay, so now we've got this workout set up. We're doing a warm up. It's going to be a half mile warm up. Then we're doing a 1 mile at a certain pace. It's going to tell us when we're in and out of that window. It's going to also beep a couple times. It's going to give you a little bit of a countdown when you're just about done with a section. But also you're looking at this and you're like, well, you probably want a recovery in between those, right? In between your 2 intervals. So let's go ahead and do add step. I'm going to take this. Oh, it's a little sticky. We're going to move it up. We're going to edit it. Step type, run. Let's do a recover. Add note. Recovery 90 seconds. I like to just put the note in there. I thought that was something that it's a little something that'll pop up and tell you, right when you're going into it. So obviously it seems a little bit, cumbersome to do it now, but it'll be nice, I think, when you glance down and you're transitioning from each section. Duration type, we're going to go this one for time. And we are going to set this up. Duration, I just said time. We do not need 3 minutes. We're going to put this at 0. No, we're not. We're going to put this at 1 and 30. So we're going for 90 seconds. No target. I think this is just recovery. Cool. So now you're looking at this. We've got warm up 1 mile at a pretty quick pace. Then we got our 90-second recovery, and then we're doing a half mile at a quicker pace, and you have a cool down that is as long as you want it to be until you hit that lap button, and it is going to end the whole workout. Cool. So you've created this workout. Let's go ahead and save it. We'll call this 1 mile plus 0.5 bonus. And I'm just going to see if this will even show up. it's fun to put the emojis in there. Cool. So you can see the two different workouts that we have currently set up. We're going to go ahead and get these onto our watch now. So let's go ahead and go back. Actually, no, I think workouts. And here it is. I'm going to time to running. This workout will be available when your Forerunner completes its next, I'm guessing it's its next sync. I'm going to go back to my home. My day. Let's do that. Let's just make sure we're synced. Okay, went like 3/4 of the way. Let's just make sure we're definitely synced. Okay, it went green, so I'm assuming it's over there. So now we're going to switch over to the watch again and making sure that is in focus. We're going to go to run. I'm going to hold up. And it always gets me. Still new to me. Training, workouts, which we didn't do before. And we have that 1 mile, and it does have the little rock and roll emoji. So that is fun for those of us creating our own. You can put emojis depending on probably the watch you have. So that's that 3 mile I did in this video. And then you have your 1 mile plus 0.5 bonus, which we already have the layout of that. Awesome. So you can then do the workout and it'll play out exactly how the other one we did. I can actually, it won't show us because we won't be moving. So similar layout. You got your time, your warm up, except we're not going to get halfway through the warm up. So I'll just go ahead and end that here. So yeah, I guess I should probably end this video on camera so you get one last glimpse of things. But that is how I have recently discovered on how to set up and program workouts just for running. I know that there's a lot of other things you can do with Garmin devices, but I'm just exploring, and hopefully this helps someone out there. That's how you start. I think this is a good dipping your toes in setting up workouts on your watch and through the Garmin Connect app on your phone. Okay, my friends, that is just about the longest video I've done in a little bit. Hopefully you got something out of it. Please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. A note on the podcast, the Pain Cave Chronicles officially has 2 episodes out. We laid out kind of how we're doing over the last week. My friend Sean just got his hands on the new Alpha Flies, so he will be experiencing those. So, maybe join in and listen to the next episode to see how he's getting on with the Alpha Fly 3s. And we kind of get into the 3 different training plans we're getting into for the Buffalo Marathon. We've got my one friend Sean's doing the Hal Higdon kind of adaptive app training program. My other friend Cody is doing a very classic Jack Daniels, but it is still, fully curated to his, current fitness, his personal bests over the years, and how he's been doing over the last couple of months. So that's really cool to get a little bit of information of. And then obviously I've got my training plan, a little bit more DIY than the other 2, but I've done a handful more marathons. And obviously I'm going to be stealing a lot from what I learn from them each week, and adapting that to my training plan. So maybe consider going on to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and check out the Pain Cave Chronicles with myself and two of my good buddies. But that's it. This is a long one. I hope you had a good one. Peace. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there, everybody.